So the bees in this colony, or the colony in this hive, they were just about to swarm a little while ago, probably a week ago. Can't remember now. I'll plot the exact date on the screen there, and that's when I found all kinds of caps swarm cells. So, and usually they swarm just as the capping happen, so or around the time that the swarm cells are capped. So they were right on the edge. But I still saw the queen laying eggs. She didn't. She looked slightly trimmed down, but not totally. Like she was ready to fly, but not quite ready there. And so I split them up and took all those swarm cells, all the brood, left this original hive with just their queen and absolutely no brood. And I gave them a little box up top in case they had gorged on honey and they wanted to make some new comb. So I left them alone and hoped for the best. And then I took all the brood and all the swarm cells and I put them in this hive, or I built this hive for them. And all the foragers, they lost all their foragers, and all their foragers are over there. So that's looking pretty crowded and, you know, doing its thing. And over the past week, they've regained a few foragers. They've, you know, just new brood and other things. Other bees that are ready to fly started flying around. So they're doing their thing. But still, there's a lot of bees in there and a lot of brood in there. And they just don't have, they can't, those nurse bees aren't going to leave the brood behind, right? If it's too cold, they got to keep all that brood warm, all that jazz. Anyhow, that was about a week ago, I think. So I'm just going to check to see if any of those cells have emerged. And if a queen has emerged, I should find rows and rows of queen cells all torn open. So let's see. I also took this piece of a concrete slab that I've got, and I think these bees might be a little bit defensive, and I just put it over the inner cover hole because I wanted to block up the inner cover hole, and this thing is warm and it's giving off heat. So maybe there's an idea there for some crazy beekeeper who's always wants to do something new. There you go. Alright, I can see right away that these bees are a bit defensive and stingy, so I'm gonna get the old smoker out. Alright, got one frame here with a couple of queen cups, but those might have just been queen cups. I can't remember if those were queen cells or swarm cells. I mean, don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so this is the bottom box, and this is where most of the swarm cells are. So we'll take a look. Alright, so there was a cell here before, and it's obviously gone. So I'm guessing all those cells that I saw are going to be torn apart. So I'm going to try to keep an eye out for. Oh, these bees are definitely a little bit antsy. So I'm just getting a little hit of smoke, just a little smell of smoke. I've got my phone jammed into the edge frame, so maybe we'll see what we see with this phone. Might not work. Though I did it in a previous video and it worked. So I'm looking for a queen. I can't see what this. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this is just a frame of cat brood and drones. And I don't see a queen. If the queen has emerged, I wouldn't expect her to have mated by now. But you never know. If she's a virgin queen, she might look kind of stubby. But I don't see anything resembling a queen right now. These bees are the bees on that frame are just, I found another empty queen cell though. So there's definitely, emergence has occurred. Let's see what we see here. This used to be a frame of cat brood. I have no idea if this is coming through on the camera. And I've got the sun shining in my face. I should be on the other side of this hive. But oh well. Sometimes you see the bees wandering around following another bee and you think, okay, maybe they're following the queen. But sometimes they're just playing tag or something. I don't know. Yeah, this is a frame of drone brood. I I see nothing resembling a queen yet. Let's check out the other side. Now the bees are moving a bit fast. Sometimes when they're moving fast, something's up usually. She could be on this frame, but I just can't see. If she's not mated, she could be really hard to spot. When she's mated, she kind of looks like the alien mother in the Aliens movie, but when she's not, she just sort of looks like every other bee. Come on now. So I've got these. This is just leftover cap brood. So I gave them. I mean, they had all the cap brood in this hive. Okay, these bees are moving fast. Something's up. I do not see anything resembling a queen. Is this phone even recording? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. My smoker just went out, so hopefully they just stay nice for the rest of this inspection. Okay. Yeah, all the swarm cells have been torn open. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but right here, there used to be one right there, and there used to be one right there, and they're all gone. So definitely has the queen. There is a queen somewhere, and hopefully they didn't kill her or do something wonky like we've been doing all year. I've heard from so many beekeepers this year about, queens that are just newly emerged that just get balled and destroyed right away, leaving them the colony queenless, like completely queenless, no chance of becoming even making their own queen because they have no brood, no open brood. Okay, well, this is definitely where come on, there's gotta be maybe there's lots of cap brood here. And I removed the top box, and it's possible she's in the top box. And it's possible she's on this. Oh, I see some fresh brood, but again, that could be open brood. I mean, that could be from a week ago. Just that could have been freshly laid eggs. Okay, come on, baby, you got to be on this frame. Come on. It would be cool to see a virgin queen or any kind of queen right now. Oh, they're definitely a bit jittery. And there's a couple bees that got their butts in the air like, hey human, don't step this way or you're gonna get it. But they're calm. Most of them are pretty calm. Also gave me a hit of smoke, so that doesn't hurt. Okay, this is just nothing. Alright, let's check this out. No. Okay, well, I don't know. She's in there somewhere, I hope. So I'm going to assume that this queen emerged not very long ago. 2 or 3 days ago. So she probably hasn't mated yet. I will take a quick look at that top box, but this is it. I might reduce them down to two mediums as well. I got them in this medium, and this is a medium that I got from some beekeeper years ago, and the dimensions are all off. It's too thin, but anyway. And here you can see at the bottom of the hive is this sort of dusty stuff. It's that's cappings. That's when this could just be queen cappings, or just the cappings that are removed from the brood that has emerged since I built this hive. But yeah, it could be. There were also at least a dozen swarm cells in there, and they've all been destroyed. So that could be just the remnants of that too. But yeah, when brood is emerging, and sometimes when they're eating their honey, you'll see a lot of this waxy dust on the bottom, and that's okay. Usually, it can also mean that they've been robbed out, but it's the robbing I haven't seen a lot of robbing in my time, so I can't really report on that one. But I would assume that robbing cappings would look different. They would be more rough, and there's no signs of robbing. Like when I say rough, it means the hold on a second, just trying to get this Jenga block in here. When I say rough, it means that when the bees are desperate, if they're starving or robbing, I would assume it's the same kind of thing. They just tear into they tear into the comb, and they just leave a very ragged looking piece of cell left over. It's very it's not a smooth thing. They're very they're all business. Well, it's not business. It's pretty rough. Anyway, I've explained that really well. So anyway, the date today is, because I can't remember, and I split this hive that was about to swarm on this date, and at that point the queen cells were completely capped. There were no uncapped queen cells, swarm cells, and they were definitely swarm cells. So anyway, they were swarming, and I stopped it probably the day they were about to swarm, and the queens have emerged, or a queen has emerged, and hopefully I'll leave that open for her to get in if she goes on a mating flight, and I'll keep this open too. Why not? I don't want to block her entrance. The good thing about this time of year is that most of the predators that would chew on queens when they're flying around, like dragonflies, most of those are gone now, so hopefully she can get out on the flight. I still see plenty of drones, so you know, she could mate. You never know. And maybe if she mates well, she'll be a big strong queen come next spring. And I hope so, because otherwise I've got a big ball of nothing here. So I'm going to take a quick look at the the swarmed hive and just see what's going on. I don't know what to expect. Hopefully the queen is just laying and it's all business, and I won't find any swarm cells. So I gave them some foundation, some frames with just foundation to build some comb, and they're just building funky comb, and I don't know why, and I don't care. I'm just too late in the season to care. But I will say it's a bit of a pain to deal with. I mean, it looks nice, but it's look, I mean, this is just like ridiculous, right? But maybe that's what happens. They just didn't know what to do. All of a sudden they thought they were going to swarm, and they didn't, and they got their signals crossed. Here's a funny looking frame, and there's some bees. That's come on, focus, there we go, sort of. They're festooning. That's the beginning of festooning. It's when they make a little chain like that, and you can see they're doing it here too, and they're just doing that to fill in the space. They'll follow that ladder of bees, and that's how they, and you can see that bee is right smack in the center of the comb too, the middle of the frame, and they'll build comb following that little frame of bees, that little ladder of bees, which is called festooning, and that's where they build their comb. That's how they figure out where to build comb. They festoon, and then they just follow the ladder of bees. And this is a leftover piece of comb from a deep frame that I had, so I just stuck it at the bottom of this medium, and they're working it. There wasn't much happening in that top box. I'm down to the middle box, and I can see there's just honey bulging out, so I'm just going to pull that out, and I'm going to get right down to the bottom box. Well, this hive is full of bees, and it looks like, I mean, it doesn't look like it's swarmed, but I don't see any signs of the queen, the original queen, and I don't see any brood, and I see one of these. This is a swarm cell. It's a crooked swarm cell that I must have missed. Well, actually, this is a new swarm cell. So I don't know. And it's fertilized. It's not capped. Okay, so I destroyed that swarm cell because I do not want to deal with that right now, this late in the season. But the next frame was full of fresh brood. You might not be able to see it. There it is. So this brood has been laid since I made the split that hive up. And if you look over to the next frame, I'll pull that out in a second, but that's cat brood. And there we go. There's some fresh cat brood, some cat brood and fresh brood, and it's worker brood, not drone brood, so it's a real queen. Not a laying worker or any of that junk, he says with a hint of resentment. So that's good. She's in there. But I also found a swarm cell, so they've still got that swarm impulse they can't get rid of just yet. Yes, fresh brood here too. I'm just seeing if I can spot the queen. But they're calm. So they're calm like they have a queen, or at least they've got a queen cell. Let's see if she's on here. I can't see what I'm doing. No, but that's nice. I love nice fresh brood like that. All right, well that was fun. So I found about one full medium frame of open brood, fresh open brood, that's been laid since last time I was here, and I found a frame of cap brood too. So a nice, clean, young cap brood, and it's worker brood too. I haven't done my math yet, or checked my dates, but I think that works out. It seems like they still have a queen in there, but they also were creating a super. Well, it looks like a swarm cell, but could have been a supersedure cell. And but I'm just going to assume that queen is in there. I didn't spot her. They may be all out of whack because they are on the verge of swarming, and so they're just they're getting mixed signals here. And I didn't spot the queen. And I honestly can't remember if this queen is marked or not. I just don't remember. But this top box, they're not doing much with it. Because they created that swarm cell, that one swarm cell, it looks like a swarm cell too. It was only one, but if they're getting into a swarmy mode again for some silly reason, I don't want to deal with that so late in the season. So I've destroyed that swarm cell, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to move this hive to this location over here where I've got a young small colony, and I'm going to let that young small colony, it's going to go here, and they're going to inherit all those foragers, and these guys are going to lose all their foragers. And it's really going to knock them back, but at least it'll knock them back from swarming, and that's really all I care about right now. So, good times.